going to start recording. Hopefully, let me know if I freeze. Did it freeze or is it okay so far? It's okay. Okay, good. All right. So make sure you're on mute. And like I said, my puppy is like barking and howling downstairs. So I'm sorry about that, but he just doesn't like being in his crate. He's not being abused, I swear. So if you can hear it and it's bothering you, please feel free to turn on your own music. I feel like when music is played on the other side of Zoom, it just doesn't sound as good. Sometimes it sounds tinny or something. So I'm just gonna hope that he quiets down. But if he does bother you, just turn on some music, and I'm really sorry. He's never really been left alone because he's a pandemic dog. And so when he's alone, he gets very upset. He does not like to be in that box. All right, so let's just all get settled in. Oh, I'm so stiff too. So find a comfortable seat, whatever feels good for you this morning. Start to deepen your breath, close your eyes. Relax your jaw. Relax the muscles in your face. Think about where your torso is. I find myself sort of leaning forward, so you might lean back. We've sat against the wall before, and if you like that support, you can adjust your mat so that you're seated with a wall behind you. Find a place to rest your hands. My poor dog. And then let's bring our hands to our heart, a little space in between your palms, and you might set an intention for your practice this morning. And with your next inhale, breathe that intention in, and exhale out. And we'll open the eyes. Let's just start with a couple of neck circles, just really slow. Drop your head back, down to the side and then around. And if it feels sticky in any place, let it stay there just for a moment. We'll take a couple more this direction. And then reverse. Might hear some creaks and some cracks. Just stretch all that out. You might even notice how you feel that stretch all the way down your spine when your head comes forward. Maybe you've got some tension in your back or your shoulders too. Then we'll bring the head back to center. And let's stretch out the side of the neck now. So arms come out to the side, and then let's bring the right arm up and over. Put your palm on the left side of your head and gently bring your head down to your shoulder, your right shoulder. Try to keep your shoulders down. And you might play with your gaze, maybe look down, maybe look up, whatever feels good for your neck. You might even lift your left fingertips off the floor and feel that stretch all the way down the length of your arm. Like I was saying, those classes we did this week were really arm heavy, I felt like. So if you took any of those classes, you might need to stretch your arms, relax your shoulders. Deep breath in and exhale, and then release your hand from your head. Put it on the right side of your face and let it bring your head back to center. And then we'll switch sides. So left arm comes up and over. Reach it up, right ear, shoulders come down, and let that little assist from your left hand bring your left ear towards your shoulder. You might lift your right fingertips up off the floor and find a stretch in the right arm. Keep your jaw relaxed. I always have to remind myself that. That's one of my things. I'm a jaw clencher. My dog, oh my God. Well, he might howl himself to sleep, poor thing. He's only 3 months old, so he can't be trusted to be alone. And then let your left hand come to the left side of your face and gently push your head back up to center. And we'll flip over, so we're in tabletop. And just check out your alignment. Make sure that your hands are directly under your shoulders. Spread your palms wide. And let's do some cat-cows. So tuck the toes under, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And then press up into cat. Feel that stretch across your back. Oh my goodness. And then cow, inhale. And cat, exhale. I knew I was going to be stiff in my upper back today because we did about 1 million flies yesterday. And drop the belly, cow. One more time, and cat. Pausing cat. Press into the floor with your hands. Try pulling that mat apart. Activate your lats. Nice and strong through the back. Let the head and neck be heavy. Pull the belly button in. And then release. Let's sit the hip back. And reach forward into child's pose. Let's stretch into your sides, into your upper back, along the top of your ribs, maybe up into your shoulder blades. Big breath in and out. Then we'll walk the hands over to the right. Lift and sit your hips over to the left so you're getting an extra stretch down the side body. Breathe into that. Each exhale just a little bit deeper. One more big breath here. And then walk the hands through center and over to the opposite side. So fingers to the left, and then lift and sit your hips over to the right. Lean into that stretch. 2 or 3 big breaths here. Just let your torso rise and fall off your thighs. And exhale. Let's walk the hands back to center. We'll come up into tabletop and then tuck the toes and lift for down dog. Pedal your feet. I really haven't done a lot of down dog since my dental surgery, but done a little bit. And man, does it feel nice to stretch out. So stretch out through your calves. Lift your hips. Bring your shoulders away from your ears. Rotate the eye of your elbow forward. Spread your palms wide. Then let's lift the right leg, and we're just going to wrap big toe and second toe around the Achilles of the left heel, and let that assist in guiding your left heel down to the ground. Just deepen that stretch in the back. And then we'll switch sides. Right foot comes down, lift the left. Grab it between the toes, and then pull the right heel down. And then let's bring the feet back together. We're just going to do a couple little tail wags here. So we're going to bend the knees, tip the hips over to the right, and just stretch there. Feel that strengthen your obliques. Stretch on the left side. And then straighten the legs back to down dog. Big breath in and out. And then bend the knees and send your hips to the left. Let's strengthen your left obliques and stretch in the right. Strong in the shoulders. And then back to center. And let's walk those legs all the way to the top of the mat. Forward fold. If you want, you can take your feet about hips width apart and just hang down. You might even sway back and forth a little bit. Stretch out the low back, hamstrings. And remember to release your head and neck down. If your feet are apart, just walk them back together, bend the knees, and let's roll up one vertebra at a time, all the way to standing. Arms come out and up, Reach up, bring your navel in and slight arch of your back, squeeze your glutes, and then flat back forward fold all the way down. Halfway lift, plant those hands, step back, plank pose. From here, bend the elbows, raise the rib cage, come all the way down. Squeeze your elbows in, let the tops of the feet come down, lift the knees, cobra pose. And then release, tuck the toes, press back up to your plank, and lift the hips, down dog. Inhale, and exhale. And we'll take that water walk again. Stretch up those legs, side, body, and back, all the way to the top. Then reverse, swan leg, lift, reach, take that little back bend, and hands to heart. Arms out and up. Flat back, forward fold, all the way down. Halfway lift. Hands come down, step back, plank pose. Bend the elbows, come all the way down. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, lift for cobra pose. And exhale, release. Tuck the toes, press back up into plank. And hips lift, down dog. Inhale. And exhale. Last time, that little water walk all the way to the top of the mat. Let your weight be in your hands when you do that. So you can lift your feet. And then flat back, lift all the way up. Hands to heart. And if you're ready to take those jump backs and jump forwards, up dogs, feel free. If you want to stay with a less impactful version, go for it, whatever feels good for you. Remember, if you're jumping down into that chaturanga, you jump and land with bent elbows, straight body, up and down dog, high on the toes, bend the knees, jump to the top of the mat, forward fold, and reverse lift, come up, reach up, and hands to heart. One more time, lift up, flat back, fold all the way down. Halfway lift, plant the palms, and move through your flow. Up dog or cobra. And come back down dog. 3 big breaths here. And each exhale, come a little bit deeper into the pose. High on the toes, bend the knees, and jump to the top of the mat. Forward fold. And reverse lift. Reach up, and hands to heart. Pause here for just a moment. I want us to go through that chaturanga slowly. I know we do that every once in a while. Today feels like a good day to revisit that. Just break it down before we move on. So when we do our chaturanga, if we're going to do that jump back, we want to make sure that we're always landing in that right position. So let's break it down and move really slowly together. Arms come out and up. Reach up. You're really squeezing your glutes. Navel back to spine. Reach high with the hands, shoulders away from the ears. And then when you come down to that flat back, stick your booty out. And you can send your hips back. Get that nice flat back here. And then once you find that flat back, then you release. Fold forward, all the way down. That halfway lift, you want to make sure that you've got a flat spine again. So if you need to bring your hands to your shins, that's fine. Wherever you need to find that same length in the spine. If you're rounded, because you're trying to come low, but you don't have that flexibility, just allow yourself to come up, right? If you have your fingertips on the ground, that's fine too. Then we put our hands down. If you need to bend your knees, you bend your knees, right? So palms are down, and then you bend the knees. So here's the important part. When you jump back, you want to make sure that you land in chaturanga. So you want to land with the elbows squeezing in to the rib cage, body straight like plank, palms pressing wide, fingers spread onto the ground. So we plant the palms, bend the knees, and when we jump, automatically in Chaturanga, we're spread wide across the shoulders, not squeezing the shoulder blades together. Navel lifted, flat back, and then you tuck the toes. And lift for up dog with knees off the ground, pressing into the hands, shoulders away from the ears. Here's where you squeeze your shoulder blades together and open up with the front body. And then you press back, roll over those toes if that's available to you. And then come to down dog. Sometimes it feels so good to break those poses down. And then high on the toes, bend the knees. You want to look at your hands, look where you're going, and then spring forward. With bent knees when you land, forward fold. And then you want to start coming up immediately with that flat back. Reach up, find the length, and hands to heart. So your Namaskar bead. So keep all those things in mind when we move through this flow. Hands up. Flat back, all the way down. Halfway lift. Find your vinyasa. And then meet in down dog. Right leg lifts. Bend and spin your hip open. Shoulders stay square, left heel comes down. Nice, extend the leg high. And then bend the knee. And let's bring it into the nose. So you got kind of a cat back here. And then extend the leg long. Let's bring the right knee to the right elbow. And extend. Right knee, left elbow. And extend. And then step the foot through. And we'll just pause down here for a moment. Just feel that runner's lunge. You can sort of go back and forth a little bit. Stretch the front of the left leg, the back of the right. Walk your right foot over to the side. Now, if you need to bring your knee down for lizard, that's fine. Otherwise, keep your leg up and bring your torso down. So you're on your forearms. Finding that nice stretch in the legs. You might wiggle back and forth a little bit. Feel the strength in your abdominals. And then from here, I want you to just bring your right foot back. So you're in forearm plank. Pause in your plank for a moment. Inhale, exhale. And now gently lower your belly down, roll over the tops of the feet, and find yourself in Sphinx Pose. So for Sphinx Pose, we're pressing into the forearms, press through your hip bones, squeeze your glutes, find that arch in your back. Inhale and exhale. And then release, bring your hands back under your shoulders, tuck the toes, press up into plank, and then hips come back, down dog. Left leg, bend and spin your hip open. Pop, 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 legs are popping. Extend the left leg, and then knee to nose, pause. Extend the left leg up. Left knee, left elbow, pause. And then extend back up. Cross the body, left knee to right elbow. And extend up. And then step the left foot through in between the hands. Pause here. Wiggle it out a little bit. Open up to the back of the left leg this time. To the front of your right hip flexor. And then come down to find your lizard, whether that's on your knee or with your knee up and high on the right toes. Find your breath. Find that stability in your core. And then begin to take your left foot back behind. You've got to be really strong and lift through your core to bring your foot back. Stay here in that forearm plank. Shoulders away from the ears. You're not pinching those shoulder blades together. It's the same principle we find when we're doing our regular planks or when we're doing that cat pose wide across the back. And now lower down. Release the tops of the feet. Now here's where we squeeze those shoulder blades together. Back to Sphinx Pose. Chest lifted. Hip bones pressing into the mat. Glutes squeeze to protect your low back. And then release. Bring your hands back to your sides. Tuck the toes. We'll press back up into plank. Hips lift. Down dog. High on the toes. Bend the knees. And then jump to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Reverse lift. Rise all the way up. Slight back bend. Hands to heart. Arms out and up. Flat back, forward fold all the way down. Halfway lift. And move through your flow. My dog is just not going to give up. That poor little thing. He's going to exhaust himself. Down dog. Big breath in. And out. Right leg lifts. Bend and spin your hip. Extend the right leg. And bring it to your nose. Pause. Find that round back. And lift. Right knee, right elbow. And lift. Right knee, left elbow. And lift. And step it through all the way in between the hands. Let's find a quick pyramid pose. So straighten the right leg and the left. Nose towards the right knee. Breathe into that right hamstring. Let it relax. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Nice. Now bend the front knee. Hop step that back foot forward just a bit and we'll rise. Press into your feet to lift into warrior one. Find that slight back bend here. Find your breath. Nice. Strong in the legs. And then we'll bring the hands down, step back, find that plank pose. And from here, just tuck yourself, the tops of your feet under. And we're just gonna come to up dog for a moment. Work that up dog. Shoulders away from the ears. Pause here, really squeeze those glutes. Press into the tops of your feet. And then lower. All the way down. Tuck the toes, press up, plank pose, and down dog. Inhale, and exhale. Left leg lifts, bend and spin your hip open. Extend the left leg, and knee to nose. Pause. And lift. Left knee, left elbow. And lift. Left knee, right elbow. And lift back up. And then step the foot through in between the hands. Press back, pyramid pose, left side. Extend long through both legs. Try to reach your right heel down to the floor. Try to reach your nose just a little bit closer to your left knee. One more breath. And then bend your front knee, hop, step your back foot front just a little bit, and torso lifts. Reach up, warrior one. This time, if you want a little stretch in your arms, you can bend those elbows. Reach your hands back for your shoulder blades. You get a nice stretch in your triceps. Squeeze the elbows into the sides of your hip. Chest stays lifted, front knee stays bent. And hands come back up and then release down to the floor. Step back, find that plank, and then tuck your toes, drop the hips, find that up dog again. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, broaden across your shoulder, your clavicles. Find your breath. And then release. Now, tuck the toes, press into the hands, come up through plank. Lift the hips, down dog. Big breath in, and exhale out. High on the toes, bend the knees, come to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Then reverse, lift all the way up. Hands come to heart. Arms out and up, reach. Flat back, forward fold all the way down. Halfway lift. And find that flow. And press back, down dog. Right leg lifts, bend and spin your hip. This time we're gonna stretch our hip out a little bit. So extend the right leg to the side, parallel to the floor. And then bend the knee, rotate the hip square down. Rotate the hip open, extend the leg, bend the knee, rotate the hip down. One more time, rotate the hip open, extend the leg, bend the knee, square the hips, and step the front foot through. Let's bring that knee down real quick. Hands come to the inside, walk your right foot out, and press into that opening. Press into your right thigh. Stretch it out. And then bring your hands back down. Foot comes back to the center here. Why don't you lift your chest, press into your right foot. Really stretch out to the left quad. Nice. Hands come down. Lift the left toes. Come back up to that runner's lunge, and then we'll come back to plank and move through that flow. Down dog. Left side, left leg lifts. Bend and spin your hip open. Now extend the left leg to the side. Bend the knee, rotate the hips down. Open the hip, extend the left leg, bend, rotate the hips square to the ground. Last time, open, extend, bend the knee, rotate the hips square, then step it through in between the hands. Lower the right knee down to the ground. Bring the left hand more towards the middle of the mat. Left foot walks towards the left edge. Weight comes to your right hand. Press your left hand into your left thigh. Find that stretch. Strengthen those hips. And then open them up. And then release, walk that foot back towards the middle. Bring your hands to the top of your left thigh. And press forward. If you need to, you can put a blanket under your knee, or you can roll up your mat if it's a little bit hard on your right knee. Torso stays lifted, shoulders away from the ears. And then release the hands down, tuck the back toe, step back, plank pose, move through your vinyasa. And down dog. Breath in and out. Plant the toes, bend the knees. Come to the top of the mat. Forward fold. And reverse swan back lift. Reach up. Hands to heart. Arms out and up. Flat back. Forward fold all the way down. Halfway lift. Find your vinyasa. And down dog. Right leg lifts. Bend and spin your hip. Extend the right leg to the side. Bend the knee. Rotate the hip square. Rotate the hip open. Extend to the side. Bend the knee. Rotate back. Last time, open. Extend. Bend the knee. Rotate the hips. Step the foot through. Back foot comes down and left for warrior two. Stay low in the legs. Left edge of the left foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Right toes point forward. Reach forward and arch back. Hold that stretch for just a moment. And then come into side angle pose. You want to be in between two panes of glass, right? And from here, just extend that front leg for triangle pose. So send your left hip towards the left, while the crown of your head reaches towards the right. Tuck your tail, spine is long. And then rotate your left hand down to the ground, right hand down to the ground, come to a lunge, step back. And we're gonna lower all the way down through Chaturanga, all the way. This time I want you to kick your right foot up and your left foot up, so just your thighs are on the ground. And we're gonna reach back for the tops of our feet, or if you prefer, you can reach your ankles and flex your feet. Whichever way is more comfortable for you. I like to keep my feet arched. So I'm reaching around tops of my feet, and then I'm going to lift my head and my thighs off the ground. But in order to keep my back safe, I'm going to squeeze my glutes and press my hip bones into the ground. So lift. Kick those feet into your hands. Feel that stretch in your shoulders, widen across your collarbones. Don't forget to breathe. One more big inhale and exhale. And then release. Slowly release the legs. Hands come back down towards your sides. Tuck the toes. Press up your plank. And hips lift. Left leg reaches up, bend and spin those hips open. Extend your left leg towards the side, bend the knee, and rotate the hips square. Open up, extend, bend, and rotate square. Open, extend, bend, rotate square. And then step that foot through. I'm going to rotate the back foot down. I feel like I forgot something. I might have forgotten something. Lift up into warrior two. Pause here. And then reach forward and back. Find a breath here. And then reach the opposite direction. Side angle pose. Really tuck your tail. Right arm reaching towards the left. Low in the legs. Then extend the left leg long. Reach your hips towards the right. Crown of your head towards the left. Feel the stretch in your right obliques. and the strength in your left obliques. Then rotate the right hand down. Left hand comes down, find that lunge, then step back with the left foot, and lower all the way down. And we're gonna take that pose one more time, our bow pose. So both feet lift, you're gonna reach back for the tops of your feet or for your ankles. Big breath in, and exhale, lift up. 3 breaths here. Let yourself rock backwards and forwards. And then release that effort. Release the legs. Hands come back up towards your shoulders. Tuck the toes. Press back into plank. And then down dog. 3 big breaths and down dog. High on the toes. Bend the knees. And jump to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Then reverse swan dive. Lift, reach all the way up. And hands come to heart. Close your eyes. Find your breath. Let's take one more deep inhale and exhale. Nice. Let's come to a seat on the mat. Let's start with Shavasana. So this is like a one leg forward fold. I'm going to extend my right leg forward with my right toes pointed towards the ceiling. The bottom of my left foot is on the inside of my right thigh. And I've got my left knee out to the side. If you need support underneath, grab a block or a pillow. I'm going to make sure both sits bones are on the ground. Reach up and then fold forward any amount over that leg. Try to keep your back flat. You're reaching forward, forward, forward. Maybe you can wrap your hands around your foot. Maybe you need a strap. First, find the length and then let your head come down towards your knee. Breathe into that opening in the back of your right leg. One more breath here. And then reach forward and up. Now you're going to take, let's switch sides. So we're going to take the left foot forward now. Right foot comes to the inside of the left thigh. Right knee is bent. Left toes point towards the sky. Reach up and then fold forward over that foot. You might be a little less stretchy on this side, or maybe this is your more stretchy side. Just find your edge on this side. That comparison relates to the left. Our sides are different. And then release the head and neck over the leg. And then release, reach forward and come up. We're going to find a twist. So bring your foot, I'm going to keep my left foot on the bottom, left leg, and I'm bringing it a little bit more towards the front so that my knee is pointed straight. And then I'm going to cross my left leg over, trying to get my left foot flat on the floor. You can wrap your right arm around that leg, around your knee, and then find a twist. Sit nice and tall with your shoulders away from your ears. If your neck is bothering you, you don't have to look behind you. That's fine. Just find a comfortable place. Feel that stretch in your outer left hip. Stretch in your spine. And then release, and we'll switch sides. So now the left foot comes underneath. Right foot's gonna cross over. Try to be square on both of your hips. And then wrap your left arm around your right knee. And then rotate. Find that stretch in your spine. Couple more breaths here. And then release. And I have a challenge pose for you before we move on to the last couple things I want to do. This is something we haven't done in this class before, but we're going to try to do a little bit of a balance on our hips. So if you can see, I've brought my feet into like Baddha Konasana. My body's into Baddha Konasana really, but I'm pointing my toes and I've lifted my hips off, not my hips, I can't talk today, my heels off the floor. So the first thing you're going to try is just to extend your right foot. Extend your right leg. Keep that left heel off the ground. You're really working on that external rotation in your left leg. And then release. Now grab your left heel with your left hand. Keep your right heel up and extend the opposite leg. Still sitting up nice and tall. And then release. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but we're gonna grab for both heels. And we're gonna try to find that balance as we lift both legs and extend long. You might rock back and forth on your sit bones for a minute. It's all right. Just play with it. Find that balance. Active for your core. And then release. Nice. Now we'll find a pigeon with our right side. So I'm just going to rotate over to the right. And I'm going to set it up so that my right shin is parallel to the front of my mat. I'm going to roll over my hips. Scoot back a little bit. Left eye, reaching towards the ground. And then let's fold over the front leg. Just as far as you can go comfortably. Maybe you can just bring your head down. Maybe you need a block for support. Maybe you can bring your whole chest down. In a normal class, like if we were in person, I would enjoy to come and just lay down on top of you and make you super flat on the ground. I actually really like it when my teachers do that. It feels kind of like a big weighted blanket. But you definitely have to have some flexible hips to take it. One more breath here. And then press into your hands. Lift up, bend that back leg, reach back with your left arm to pull the left foot in towards your glutes. Back bend and a stretch in the left quad. Just a moment, sweetheart. Good. And then release. You're going to press into the hands, step back for plank, and switch sides. So that left leg is now going to come up and be parallel to the front of your mat. Careful of your knee. Right toes reaching back. You're going to feel a stretch in your right hip flexors. Take a moment. And then fold forward any amount over your front leg. Nice stretch in those hips. We worked our hips pretty hard in our vinyasa. Deep breaths in and out. And then press into your hands to bring your torso up. Bend your right knee. Reach back for your right foot, bringing it in towards the glutes. Stretch out that right quad. Now you might have guessed where we're headed for our next pose with the moves that we've been doing today. We're going to move into a back bend. And I want to offer you a couple of back bend options because full back bend is not for everybody, right? So release that foot back down. And we're going to come to sit in Virasana for a moment. Virasana is where we sit on our shins, booty back on your heels. Just sit up nice and tall. So I want to offer you the possibility of doing full wheel, which is our full back bend, and we'll walk through that. But if that's not for you, you can also do camel pose. So let's start with camel, and then we'll try back bend if you want to, and if not, you'll just do camel again. So for camel pose, we're going to come up onto our shins. If you need to put your mat folded up underneath your knees for a little cushion, that's fine. We've done camel before, so you can either tuck your toes and you'll reach back for your heels while we press our hips forward for the back bend. Or if you're more flexible this morning, you can keep your tops of the feet down and find a deeper back bend by reaching for your heels. So whatever version feels good for you this morning. So I'm going to start by leaning back, and you really want to squeeze your glutes to protect your low back, and you're going to reach back for your heels. Press your hips forward. You can drop your head back, or you can keep it up. Just be mindful of your neck. Feel that strength and stretch in your quads and the back bend. One breath and release. And then you'll come back up. And let's just sit back down, find a quick moment in Virasana. And if you'd like to just stick with camel and practice variations of that, feel free. If not, if you want to try full wheel, what you'll do is come down onto your seat, bent knees, and lie down on your back. You want to try to have your hips square. Sometimes we practice this with a block in between your knees. If you have one and you want to try that, that's fine. I might grab mine and see if I can do it. I'm not sure I can. I don't have a great full wheel either because of my injury to my left shoulder, but sometimes it's nice to just, take it a little bit easy, but give myself a fun stretch to do. So if you have a block and you want to try it, you can put it in between your knees. You want to try to keep your toes pointing straight ahead. I have a tendency to want to open mine up. So the block helps me keep my feet straight. And then I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to rotate my elbows up towards the ceiling and my fingertips are pointed towards my shoulders. Okay. So the most important thing when we come into this back bend is not to use your head as a kickstand or a support, right? That's just asking for trouble on your neck. So when we come up, make sure you're pressing into your hands and your feet equally. Maybe you can't get all the way up and that's okay, but whatever you do, do not rest on top of your head, even though it sounds sort of tempting. So here we go. If you're taking full wheel, press into those hands and into your feet. Lift your hips. Try to squeeze your knees together. Try to squeeze your elbows together. Maybe you're just up for 1 or 2 breaths. But before you come down, tuck your chin. And then roll back down. You might play with that a couple times if you just really love wheel. If not, you might just lay on your back for a moment. I'll give you one more opportunity to try full wheel if you want, before we kind of stretch it out. I'm going to take one more tiny attempt. There are some ways that you can work this in person in pairs that make it a little bit more accessible. So maybe when we can get back together, we can try that. If you're ready to try that last wheel, go ahead and press up. 1 or 2 breaths, whatever you got. But before you come down, tuck that chin and lower all the way down. If you had a block, go ahead and remove that. And just relax your shoulders and then windshield wiper your legs from side to side. And then let's pause in the middle. And I want you to walk your feet to the sides of your mat and drop your knees together. So it's a little bit different way to release your low back. And then let's bring the knees in towards the chest. Give a little bit of a squeeze. And we'll take one more spinal twist before we come into Shavasana. So I'm going to go over to the left. I'm going to try to keep my knees high. Drop my knees over to the left side. Try to keep my shoulders on the ground. If you want to find that T position with your arms, you can. I'm just going to keep mine a little bit more relaxed and let this be a more passive stretch to release that tension from all the back bends that we did. If you want a little bit of an assist, self-assist, you can take your left hand and put it on your right thigh. Just put a little bit of pressure on the outside of your leg. Might get a little bit more out of that twist. Mind your breath. And then release. We'll bring the knees back up to center. And then pull them back in towards your chest. Give them a little squeeze, and then we'll let them drop to the right. If you want that a little bit of extra assistance, you can put your right hand on your outside left thigh. Pull that down towards the ground. This is an option. You can always take cactus arms too, if that feels better for you, for your shoulders. So it's like goalposts with your arms. You can do that too. Lots of different things you can do with your hands and arms. And then bring your legs back to center. Maybe give them one more squeeze in. And then we'll release and find Shavasana. Whatever version of Shavasana feels good for you this morning. Maybe you want a bolster under you. Maybe you want to add your block. Maybe you want to put your feet in Baddha Konasana, or maybe you just want good old-fashioned Shavasana. Begin to still your body and still your thoughts. Let all those muscles that we worked just release into the ground. Relax the muscles in your face. You might even take a body scan and work all the way from the top of your head down to your toes. And whenever you're ready, you can roll over on the one side, hang out there for a moment before you come up to seated. Eyes remain closed. Somebody's not on mute. Someone else's little dog is having a fit this morning too. So when you come back to your seat, bring your hands back to your heart. Just remind yourself of that intention that you set at the beginning of practice. With your inhale, breathe it in. And exhale. And as always, thank you, Chibi, for practicing with me this morning. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it okay if our intention is the same every day? to just not
Of course.
die.
It is. Yeah, it is. That's perfectly legit.
Stay alive.
That's
a
as
good
it
one.
should be. Yeah.